Okay, so Kim Davis, I don't know if you guys remember this woman. She was responsible for almost overturning gay marriage. Well, she's doing it again. She's doing it again. And this time there is an anti-gay marriage Supreme Court in place, so it's something that we need to worry about and talk about. I'm going to tell you about Kim Davis, her original case, and what's happening right now. But first, just give this video a listen here. This is on ABC.
10 years after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of same-sex marriage across the United States, it could now be overturned. Senior Washington correspondent Devin Dwyer is on the story for us. All right, give us the deal, Devin. Who is actually asking the justices to overturn this?
Well, in recent years, Kira, we've been waiting for a case like this as some of the sentiment in the country has started to shift a little bit.
No, I mean, the sentiment is about where it's always been, but now we've been taken over by like rogue extremist nutcases is the problem. Do you know that 46.5% of registered voters in Texas are Democrat and 37.8% are Republican? Comparatively, Texas is a plurality Democrat by far, but Texas votes solidly red every single time. Why? Because of gerrymandering. That's why. The majority of the country doesn't want this insane nonsense happening. But here we are anyway, because of political machinations, because Republicans love to twist the screw and mess things up, because they play like scumbags, is why.
Started to shift a little bit, softened rather, against same-sex marriage. There's been a lot of talk about whether the justices would get a chance to reconsider the case. And as you said there, they are getting that opportunity next month. We've learned that Kim Davis, she's that Kentucky clerk from back in 2015 that was at the center of international controversy when she refused to issue marriage licenses to a gay couple in Kentucky in defiance of the Supreme Court. She spent 6 days in jail. She lost a defamation suit. She had to pay $100,000 in damages, $260,000 in legal fees. That's what she's appealing to the Supreme Court. But it's the first time, Kira, that anyone has technically asked the justices explicitly to overturn Obergefell v. Hodges, which was that landmark ruling. And she does just that. Her counsel in this petition, which was filed last week, says that decision was egregiously wrong.
Matt Staver is her counsel, and he's a nutcase, and we'll talk about him in a second, too.
If that sounds familiar, that's the same type of argument that was made by opponents of abortion when they sought to overturn Roe versus Wade just a few years ago. So a lot of eyes on this petition. It's unclear whether the court will take it up, but certainly a lot on the line.
Okay, so let's just talk about Kim Davis real fast. Just listen to this breakdown here. Kim Davis was the Rowan County clerk in Kentucky who became the center of a major legal case in 2015 following the Supreme Court's decision in Obergefell v. Hodges, which is the Supreme Court ruling saying that gay marriage is now legal. As a county clerk, she has a legal responsibility to sign marriage licenses if they are legal. If it's like an underage, like, a 12-year-old who doesn't have parental consent, she does not have the responsibility to sign that marriage license. But this is 100% legal as litigated by the Supreme Court. So she's legally obligated to fulfill her duties as county clerk. She was an elected official, and she's refusing to do her job. So they put her in jail for 6 days or something like that, and they finally ruled against her. Everybody ruled against her all the way down the line. Then they sued her for defamation, and she lost. Hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, and she lost. And of course, she's making a comeback. She's decided to throw her hat in the ring once again. She is an evil MAGA extremist. Like, these people are just soulless. They're just like bad people in their hearts. After the Obergefell decision in June 2015, Davis refused to issue the marriage licenses to same-sex couples, citing her religious beliefs as an apostolic Christian. She argued that issuing such licenses would violate her conscience and religious convictions. The thing is, she isn't acting as Kim Davis in that position. She's acting as an officer of the state. and everybody is treated fairly and equally in the eyes of the law. That's how it should be. That's how the Supreme Court ruled that it is. She isn't trying to uphold her religious beliefs. Kim Davis doesn't have to sign marriage certificates. County clerk Kim Davis does. She's trying. Here's the problem. When all you know is privilege, equality feels like oppression. That's what it is at the end of the day. She wants to maintain her position of privilege and oppress others based on her own religious beliefs, using the force of the government to do it. She's complaining she's not allowed to do that. That's the problem. Just like a teacher is not allowed to and shouldn't be allowed to come into a classroom and teach children that Muhammad is the only true prophet of God and that Jesus wasn't real and that the Quran should be blah, 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 all the other stuff. Teachers should not and are not allowed to do that because they're acting as an arm of the state in that position. Kim Davis should not be allowed to impose her religious beliefs on others, acting as an arm of the state. She want to clock out and get in these people's faces and tell them she doesn't like that they're gay. She won't go to jail for that. Several couples sued Davis in federal court. In August 2015, U.S. District Judge David Bunning ordered Davis to issue marriage licenses to all legally eligible couples. When she continued to refuse despite their order, Judge Bunning held her in contempt of court on September 3rd, 2015, and she was jailed for 5 days because of being in contempt of court. The case raised significant constitutional questions about the balance between religious liberty and equal protection under the law, particularly regarding whether government officials can claim religious exemptions from performing their official duties. The answer is no. Just like a teacher cannot claim religious exemptions and teach children that Muhammad is the only true prophet of God. That's not legal, and it shouldn't be, obviously. Davis was released from jail after her deputy clerks began issuing licenses in her absence. The controversy continued for several months with various legal proceedings and appeals. Eventually, the Kentucky legislature passed a law removing county clerks' names from marriage licenses, which addressed some of Davis's stated concerns. Oh, she didn't want her name behind it. Okay, I see. The case became a significant flashpoint in debates over religious liberty, LGBTQ rights, so on and so forth. So that's the Kim Davis situation. Well, she's decided to make a comeback now that the court is filled with nutcases, of course. Kim Davis, a former Kentucky county clerk who was jailed for 6 days in 2015 after refusing the marriage licenses to a gay couple on religious grounds, is appealing a $100,000 jury verdict for emotional damages plus $260,000 for attorney's fees. In a petition for writ of certiorari, I believe, filed last month, Davis argues First Amendment protection for free exercise of religion immunizes her from personal liability for the denial of marriage licenses. More fundamentally, she claims the High Court's decision in Obergefell v. Hodges extending marriage rights for same-sex couples under the 14th Amendment's due process protections was egregiously wrong. Quote, "The mistake must be corrected," unquote, wrote Davis' attorney Matthew Staver in a petition. He calls Justice Anthony Kennedy's majority opinion in Obergefell legal fiction. So let's talk about Matt Staver for a second. This guy is out of his head insane. Let me pick out the best clips I got from him. Hang on, let's see. Here, okay, this one's pretty good. This is pretty good. Check this out. This is from 2021, mid-August.
We began to realize that there had been a global effort to vaccinate everybody on the planet. Sounds like a innocuous, a good, altruistic motive where they want to make people, quote, healthy, close quote. But in reality, what is involved in this is a depopulation, a population control.
He thinks, okay, so here we are years later, and nobody died. How about that? That's weird, huh? A global depopulation effort, huh?
Reduce the population of the planet and to control everyone and to do it by force and to have a tracking mechanism to determine whether or not you've had one of these particular injections.
He is heavily implying that they're trying to inject microchips into people with the vaccine, right?
So this is not just about COVID. COVID is being used as a mechanism
Uh-huh.
for a bigger global agenda.
Jesus Christ, dude. This guy is insane. He's the head of Liberty Council, which is a gigantic nonprofit right-wing organization. Out of their heads. Here's another one from Matt Staver.
If I were running the school, I would not allow that student to come into the school.
Talking about trans kids, trans students, I guess.
That is from a same-sex household.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. If a child is from a same-sex household, he would not allow them to enter the school.
Personally, that's what I would do. And I would not allow a student to stay there. And I know other people may have other views on that, because on the one hand, you want to be able to have your ministry as something that's transformative.
Dude's saying he would expel students from public schools, presumably, who are from same-sex households. That is insane.
But look, my view is that whether it's certainly K through 8, these kids are not, you and I might be able to engage in this cultural war and battle and be biblically grounded, but these kids are not prepared for that. And it is a real disservice to put these kids in the situation, particularly in a Christian school that ought to be a safe environment for them.
Okay.
Where they can become very confused, and what they experience at that level can be life-changing for the rest of their lives. That's like putting kids in a viper pit. They're not ready for that.
Being around a kid who is not gay, but just has gay parents, is like being in a viper pit. What broke in this dude's head? I'm telling you, like, I don't like calling people like evil like that, but I don't know what other word to use here, because this is really genuinely depraved. These people are genuinely bad in their hearts, just bad people. That is absolutely nuts.
For that, Christians not being grounded in doctrine, no matter how the winds blow, but being changed by personal experiences, is a problem. In fact, that is the reason why this Respect for Marriage Act passed in the United States Senate. All of those people that voted for it,
not sure what this is referencing,
they were on record that they were in favor of marriage as a union of a man and woman. All of them. Why did they change? We know from some of their staffers, well, they changed because either someone in their family or people that they know, they found out are homosexual or in same-sex relationships. So they couldn't bring themselves to vote for the right thing that they knew what they're supposed to do.
Wow. Being gay poisons everything, I guess, in this dude's mind. This is Kim Davis's attorney.
But they didn't do it because of personal experiences. And so be very cautious in protecting those children and do what you need to do to protect them.
Dude, these people are just bad people. I don't know what other term to use. They are evil. Just vile, disgusting, hateful monsters. And what's even more disturbing is to sit here watching them come out as more and more extreme. Like, we knew these people were extreme, but Donald Trump has emboldened them to a degree that they're comfortable basically coming out as Nazis. They're comfortable just coming out and saying, yeah, I hate black people. Using the N-word. You remember N-word lady? I mean, it's widespread. It's insane. That is some disturbing right there. Now, I did a video a while back on something that I want to mention. How could the German people have reversed course? The average German person, not institutions or not powerful people or whatever. How could the average German citizen in the 30s have reversed course, or what could they have done to prevent the takeover all the way back then? And there are 3 core things that I want to mention that we can do, me and you, and that we should be encouraging. to stop the rise of this Nazi movement. Number one, when you're scrolling on Facebook and you see your crazy uncle saying some psychotic thing about how Trump is the best or whatever, so whatever it is, respond. Set it straight. Do not let him get away with that. Don't let that sit there unrebutted so the next non-politically involved family member that you have scrolls by and sees it and says, that makes sense to me. Make sure that people around you are fully aware that this is not a normal thing for somebody to say. Shame them. Make them feel embarrassed for saying things like that. Draw it out. Make them say something even more psychotic so that people can see who they really are inside. Don't let that stuff stand unrebutted. You're scrolling through Reddit or something and you see somebody say something absolutely insane, push back on it. That's the first thing you can do. That's the first thing that we can do to try to prevent or to stifle the rise of this Nazi movement. Number two, be present where decisions happen. We can't be at, the congressional building in DC every time they're in session. We can't sit in an audience there or whatever. But that's not really where decisions are made. Certainly not on your local community level. Go to school board meetings and listen. Just listen. You don't have to get up there, plan to say anything or whatever. Just go. Just go there. Sit in the audience, see what they have to say. And when you see an opportunity to step in, do it. School board meetings, city council meetings, everything. Those are two things that you can do right now, to try to push back against this. Number three, amplify trusted messengers. Make sure that you are not repeating disinformation or misinformation, and spread as much good information as you possibly can. If you don't have a platform, print it out on flyers and go around town and post it on telephone poles everywhere. And you see a little cork board at your local 7-Eleven where people are advertising for dog catchers or something, post a flyer up there about Nazis and how bad they are and how we fought them in World War II and we'll fight them again. And here's another little trick. Get some stickers with this message, stick them on a pole, and take a razor blade and cut them so that they're even more difficult for people to peel off. You remember those stickers people were putting all over gas station, like gas pumps for a while there? I did that, little Biden stickers pointing to the gas price, even though that's not true. That kind of thing. That's what we need to do. Go to the grocery store and get a little sticker of Donald Trump saying, I did that, and stick it on the eggs. Those are three solid things that you can do now, today, to stop the rise of, or to at least slow the rise of this Nazi movement. Make sure people know that this is nonsense. Oh yeah, and here's 4. Organize. Get together. Find a hobby group. You like playing Magic the Gathering? Get into a little Magic the Gathering group and meet together and hang out together, building a little community. It's really, really important to have a community and kick all the Nazis out. So anyway, yeah, that's my take on it. Just let me know what you think about it in the comments. These people are vile and disgusting, and we have a lot of work to do to push back.